Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Practical Bitachon in. We moved out of 2022. We're on 2023. Really, really exciting to be here again. It's 15 minutes, real short, and it's just on 10 minutes on Shaar Habitachon, the Gate of Trust, and another 5 minutes is from letters from the English letters from the Lubavitcher Rebbe on Bitachon, and we've been going through slowly every day through every time we had the class. We've been going through it through the Shaar Habitachon, which is phenomenal. How it really, really connects with us, even though it's written over 1,000 years ago, and it was written in Arabic. It was translated to Hebrew, and now we have it in English. So it's really phenomenal that we're able to take something that's over 1,000 years old and is practical for us. And I think one of the big things that come up to a lot of people, and we've seen this in our life, is the challenge with money, challenge with health. There's so many challenges out there. And if we would just be able to have this connection and really be able to be tranquil, kind of like you see that picture, people just sitting on the beach, relaxing, like there's no worry in the world. And imagine having that every single day of our life. It's incredible. And when we have that for a split second, all of a sudden it's gone. We have another worry that comes in, something else that comes in, and it's challenging. And so our goal from being able to do this is we're going through Shaar Habitachon, is we're going to learn it, we're going to live it, and we're going to work on it. It's hard. It's not easy. And really, this whole class is all for myself, just being a little selfish over here, that I want to be able to really work on myself. And again, just putting it out there practically. There's someone that gets a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. Okay, every single 2 weeks it comes. So for them, they're like, okay, I just rely on my boss. Now, what happens all of a sudden if their job they lose their job? Then all of a sudden they're out of it. They don't have a way to pay for it. They don't have a way to pay for bills. And imagine someone that's also, again, someone like myself that, you don't know you part of what you do is you're as you run an organization. You don't know every month, every week. You don't get a check. Okay, it just comes in, here it is. No, you have to be able to fundraise money, be able to do a lot. You have to do a lot of work, a lot of programs. So that in itself, and anyone that has a business, a lot of times it's even more challenging because and again, it's the same thing. It all comes from Hashem, but a lot of times you're like, where's the money coming from? And this is exactly what we're learning. We're here to be able to realize that there's, Hashem, and be able to connect with him. And so we're going to jump right into where we're up to. We're talking about 10 ways of that someone with bitachon is greater than an alchemist. And I'm just going to remind everyone what an alchemist is. Back in the day, the alchemist was a person that was able to take silver and change it into gold. He was able to take copper, take other materials, and be able to change it into money. And again, it's really a counterfeiter. But the guy had all the money he wanted. He had everything. And we're saying that someone that has bitachon, there's 10 ways that a person that has trust in Hashem is greater than an alchemist. So just imagine this for a second. Stop and think. We last one we mentioned that Elon Musk, the guy has billions of dollars. And yet, what happens? You know what? What do we have? We have something greater than him. He has all these other worries, everything going on. There's so many challenges. But if someone with bitachon is able to be so much more calm, so much more tranquil. And again, think of it like this: the greatest doctor out there, he has all the answers in the world. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden he won't get sick. And so this is really our point of what we're learning here, is realize that someone that has bitachon is in such a much greater place. So today we're going to go on to numbers 8, 9, and 10. And again, it's just phenomenal. If you want to just look it over for a second. Again, we're not going to get stuck in it today because we don't have a lot of time. We're just going to go quickly through it. One is he needs specific materials. Another one is he needs to perform certain actions. He is secretive towards others as an alchemist. He must prepare in abundance or just enough for the interim. And 5, he's always in the state of fear due to his occupation, from the most important to least important. Again, he's a counterfeit. An alchemist is not protected from disease and sickness, or if he gets sick. And then we talked about last week was he might not be able to use his silver or gold to buy food in the time of when there's a famine going on. You can have all the gold and silver, but if there's no food, it doesn't help. So today we're going on to, you can't remain in the same place for a long time. Here we go. Okay, sorry again, it's not always so clear. So the 8th manner in which a person who has bitachon is superior to an alchemist is that an alchemist is unable to remain in one place out of fear that a secret will be revealed. And what does that mean over there? That a person who has that's an alchemist, he's always on the run, because if he's worried, what's it happen? That people are gonna hear about it, they're gonna share with other people, and all of a sudden his whole secret's gonna be out, and he's gonna lose it all. On the other hand, the person who trusts in Hashem is secure, living in his land, and has peace of mind living in the place in which he lives, which we're going to understand that in a second, as it's written. Trust in Hashem and do good, dwell in the land, and be nourished by faith. Similarly, it says, the righteous will inherit the land and dwell forever in it. I want to just say one thing, that it's a lot of times challenging for people, like where they are. It says, we find that a person, it says over here, it's fascinating on the bottom one, in dwell in the land. We find a person who trusts in Hashem is referred to as someone who dwells in the land, meaning that he can live in one place without fear and does not need to move from place to place. And what it is really, a lot of times, you live in a place, is it the right one, not one? You know what? Just live with tranquility. Someone that has Bitachon with Hashem knows wherever they are is a perfect place for them to be. And Bitachon can help you love the place and the home you live in. So just remember that as we go forward. And here we go back. So there's the 8th one. And now we have the 9th one we're going to right now, which is like this. The 9th manner in which a person who has Bitachon is superior to the alchemist is the alchemist's alchemy will not accompany him in the end of his days in the world to come. Even in this world, he will gain nothing other than freedom from poverty and from reliance on other people. So remember, an alchemist, he could have the billions of dollars over here, but it will not bring him to the next. It will not bring it with him to the next world. And conversely, the person who trusts in Hashem finds that the reward for his trust will accompany him not only in this world, and it will accompany him into the world to come as well, as it's written. But one who trusts in Hashem, kindness will encompass him. And similarly, it says, how abundant is your goodness that you have hidden for those who fear you. That Hashem does so much good for those that trust Hashem, fear Hashem. And I'm going to stop here for a second. There's a story that's, again, it's a fake story, but it always sounds good, and I've heard this many times, and I heard it again in the class that I was listening to from Rabbi Shais Taub today. There was this very wealthy philanthropist, very, very wealthy Jew. He's a religious Jew. And one of the things that he had was he had this will that when he died, his kids open up the will, and it says, I want you to go bury me in my socks. So in Jewish law, you're not allowed to bury someone in socks. You have this what you cover the person with. That's it. And so they go to the rabbi, and they go to the rabbi, the family, and they say, we got this thing in the will that it says that my father, this wealthy Jew, that he needs to be able to get buried in his socks. And the rabbi says, no, you're not allowed to get buried in the socks. It's against the law. It's against Torah law. You can't do that. So they say, okay, we can't bury him with the socks. They had a will that was by the Shleishim by the 30 days after. They opened it they opened it up, and it was a different one. And it says, now that I've been buried in my socks, it's been 30 days since I've been buried in my socks. I want to tell you that even my socks, I can't take with me to the next world. So that's really the whole thing of it. A person that could have all the money in the world, it doesn't help. You can have all the money. You can't take that with you to the next world. But someone, on the other hand, who has Bitachon in Hashem is able not only to be able to use it here, but it goes with him into the next world as well. So there's no way for a person to take their money into the next world. The only way to do it is by giving tzedakah, by doing positive things. That is the only way that a money goes with a person. So what's the point? People are gathering money. It's not going anywhere. So the verse continues with the words that you have acted for those who take refuge in you, from which we see that the verse is specifically referring to a person who has bitachon and relies on Hashem. Hashem is going to take care of them. The 10th manner in which a person who has bitachon is superior to the alchemist, this is the final one. If the secret cause of the alchemist's wealth become known to others, it will be the cause of his death. Again, he's a counterfeiter. And what's going to happen? He can get killed because of that. because his efforts and labor are contrary to the rules of nature. So therefore, God, who controls over everything, will cause a ruler to rule over the alchemist and kill him if the alchemist is unable to conceal his secret. So there's actually two commentaries on it, which we'll read in a second, because one is that God will kill him, and the other way is that he's worried about other people knowing. So conversely, regarding a person who trusts in God and his trust in God is publicly revealed, he will become greater in the eyes of the creations and people will honor him. Someone that has bitachon, don't be afraid of it. Oh, that I'm scared people are going to know that I have bitachon and they're not going to want to be connected with me. No, it's going to be even greater for you. Those people will be blessed due to their proximity to him or even at the mere sight of him, and he will be the cause for improvements in the city. Additionally, the person who has bitachon will also push away harm from the people of his place of living. The author will now quote a verse as support for this first point, that the person who has bitachon will be the cause for improvements in his city, followed by an antidote as support for a second point, that a righteous person has the ability to stop harm from befalling the city, the people of a city. As the pasuk says, the righteous is the foundation of the world. And we see in the story of Lot and Zohar, this is the Avram's nephew, that he was living in a city, and his city was the one, the Zohar was the city that did not get destroyed. God had originally decreed that Zohar be destroyed along with Sodom, yet Hashem saved it because Lot chose to settle there. And again, Lot wasn't a good person, but again, he had a little bit of merit. So that made a big difference for him. And so I'm just saying one thing. This is really, really powerful. It says over here that either he will himself initiate enactments for the benefit of the city. That's about the improvements in the city, or Hashem will make things beneficial to his city and his merit. And I think that's something very powerful. To realize that someone that has bitachon in Hashem, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to share with others. A person who trusts in Hashem, and his trust in Hashem is publicly revealed, he will become greater in the eyes of the creations and people will honor him. I'm telling you, it's an honor. People respect people that stand up for their values. And you see that all day. You don't have to ever hide from something. And I know we're running out of time in a second. It's just when you go to a place where people are scared of anti-Semitism, how's the way to be able to conquer anti-Semitism? It's not by being scared and saying I'm hiding my kippah. It's being proud to be a Jew. Be proud of who you are. When people see that, they're like, wow, this person's not scared. And that's amazing. And that just gives a lot of respect. So that's really our job, everyone, is be able to be public about how much you have bitachon in Hashem. Will go a long way. We have a short letter today from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. It's written to Mr. Elia Hirsch Einbinder. And it says, Shalom ubracha, greetings and blessings. I received your letter, and I trust that you are firm in your trust in Hashem. Hence, it is not necessary to worry about every detail. Leave these details to God so that you can devote your attention to your business and to matters connected with Torah and mitzvot. To follow a physician's instructions is one thing. Again, someone's sick, obviously. But to worry about them is quite another. And it has no place in one who trusts in God. So someone that's sick, again, we have to hear what the physicians say. Fine, no problem. But the other thing is to worry about it. The current days between Purim and Pesach are especially auspicious and fortunate for Jews to overcome all difficulties. I hope that it will bring you into increased faith and reassurance. The enclosed message is intended for your wife, but in many respects, it's of interest also to men. With the best wishes for a kosher and happy Pesach, accordingly yours. And I just want to say on that, Purim is all about salvation. The Jews were about to all be annihilated, be killed, and boom, they were saved. Pesach, Passover, the same exact thing. They were all of a sudden taken out of Egyptian slavery to freedom. That's what our job is, to realize that there's a goal, there's an end goal inside a beautiful place. Be positive about that, everyone. And I wanted to wish everyone a beautiful, wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.